Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in today. We've got a bit of a gear video today and I'm going to need your help, so stick around and see what we're talking about. Thanks a lot. As you can see, I've got my Kestrel 48 on. And this is the pack I'm going to be taking on the Northville Placid Trail. And in it are two different options for my shelter. I haven't decided on which one to take, and so I decided to come out, set up both of them, and kind of ask for your opinion, ask for your advice and guidance. So if you could, throughout the video, if you have any thoughts about either one of my shelter systems, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. I'm very interested in hearing what you guys have to say. So without further ado, let's get the pack off the back and start setting things up. These are going to come in handy later. Let's see what's inside. Sit pad. There. That's what we got in here. So like I said, this is a shelter video, right? So what kind of shelters do I have in here? Well, let's see. Tarp? Hammock? Yeah, that's one shelter system. That's a lot smaller than I remember it. It's been a while since I've used it. Always have a great night's sleep in my hammock, but I'm not sure if it's going to be right for the Northville Placid Trail. We'll see. Tent, very lightweight, less than 3 pounds, 2-person tent. Sets up with trekking poles, so that should be pretty good. We'll talk about this one a little bit more as well. Sleeping pad, those are always useful. And yes, I have a pillow. That's what happens. And my top quilt, because you know what? Even in August, it's going to be cold. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not going to throw this on the ground. No, I'll put this back in here for now. So let's set the tent up first. I found a nice place that I'm going to clear out. It'll fit real good in there, and we'll show you how easy and quick this tent goes up, which is one of the huge pros for possibly selecting it for Northville Placid. Let's do this. It's actually quite warm out here. I'm kind of surprised. It was a little chilly last couple days, so this is a little bit of a surprise for me. It's okay though, it's good to be outside. So for a trekking pole tent, you have to set your trekking poles up to a certain length. And what I've found in my testing is that I set the bottom to 110. You have to forgive these, they are loved. I set the bottom of my trekking pole to 110 and the top to 115, and that seems to be the height that I need for this tent. So I'll get both of these set up and we'll get started. This tent has a bathtub floor on it, so we don't need a ground sheet, which is usually a benefit because, well, it makes it lighter, right? So stakes, put those in the bag just for the moment. Let's get this thing set up. I typically just go around, stake all four corners. Now it's time for the trekking poles. You'll see there's a little grommet right there. We put the trekking pole tip into the grommet. That's our pole. That's our post. I have a taut line hitch already tied here. So we'll just put this in. Let's stake it in there. It's pretty good. Go a little bit tighter. Oops. There we go. As you can see, it's a standard A-frame tent. It goes up really, really quick. I'll stake out the two sides and then it's done. That opens it up a little bit inside. Okay, we're almost done. I'm gonna put the sleeping pad and the pillow inside, get those inflated, and show you what we've got. This Climate Ultralight Static V sleeping pad is awesome. It's rated for, I think it's got an R value of 4.4, and it takes, I don't know, maybe 12 breaths to get it fully inflated. Very cool. I think it weighs like 15 ounces or something like that. I'll put the actual weight below, but we're gonna get that in there and start blowing this up. Huh. 10. Not bad. The pillow I have is a Trekology pillow, and I actually was doing some research on little pillows. I know some people complain about having them, but it's worth it, I promise. Dan Becker actually did a bit on this particular pillow, and I'll link that in the description below. But I took his recommendation and picked one of these up. It's incredible. It's inexpensive, feels nice, blows up pretty quick, and it's ultra comfortable, so that's a win. As you can see, I like the orange. All right, let's go for a tour. Entry level to this tent. It's got two flaps that you can pin back right here, and it's got full mesh that you can zip and unzip. This is the River Country Trekker 2 tent. It is huge inside. I think it's like 84 inches long, 50 something inches wide. I don't know, but you can come in. There's all sorts of room in here. You can see I'm 6 foot tall. My head's touching one wall, and I still got 8 inches at the end. So let me show you how I'm actually going to set up my sleep environment in here. I'm a bit of a warm sleeper, and I'm definitely a side sleeper. So essentially this is what my lookout's going to be for Northville Placid if I take this tent. It's warm in here right now. I like having my face next to the mesh, so I get some good ventilation here. The one downside is there is a version 2.2 of this particular tent, and they've added more ventilation on the side walls, so I may snag one of those. They're really inexpensive. I think we're talking less than 60 bucks. So for a tent that is sub 3 pounds and roomy, it's a good deal. So this is what the lookout is here for the tent. We'll see how that works. Yeah, it's comfy. I've got probably 3 or 4 nights set up in this thing already, and it's comfortable. It works really well. I haven't had any rain testing with it, but I presume it'll work well. We'll see how it goes. But that's the tent. So let's get started on shelter number 2, and that's the hammock, which is that setup is heavily modified. So I'll talk to you more about that as we're setting it up. Stick around. Let's get the hammock set up. And one of the most important things to do is look up and make sure that there's not any widowmakers up there, because last thing you want is something falling on your head in the middle of the night and ending your trip one way or the other. So make sure you do that every time. It's important to do with tents as well. I think this is where we're going to set up right now. Let's do this. There's 3 major components to my hammock: the actual hammock itself, a tarp, and tree straps. So you put the tree straps around the tree, boom. You put the hammock attached to the tree straps, and what I've done is I've modified kind of I won't call it a quick deploy, but an easy ridgeline system that I can attach my tarp to. So check this out. It's pretty cool. I'm kind of proud of it, actually. One of my biggest challenges with hanging my tarp and my hammock has always been the proper height. So I usually start about a foot higher than my head, so roughly 7 feet. And then if I need to, I'll adjust from there. But we'll see how it goes. Usually it's close if it's not right on. So yeah. So here's tree strap. 1-inch webbing. Goes around the tree. It's got a loop. It's pretty straightforward. One done. Now you see that this is just straight webbing. I've got to attach my hammock to it. So a couple of different options, but the one I typically use is a Marlin spike hitch. And what that do, it's a special type of knot. It's a hitch that you use a toggle for. And usually I use a stick so for my toggle. Watch what we do here. So to do a Marlin spike hitch, there's probably roughly 1,000 videos on YouTube showing you how to do it, but since I'm showing you my whole setup, I might as well do it, right? Up, through, get that hole right there, put your toggle in, boom. Easy mode. I'm gonna go do one on the other side and then we'll hang the hammock. Now, when we grab the hammock, you'll notice I got 2 color cordage on here. Red end is head end. It's pretty easy, right? Want to keep our foot end a little bit higher than our head. And what I've got here is some aftermarket DD hammock stuff that I've used to make this bare butt hammock actually pretty awesome for backpacking. Let's get it set up pretty quick, okay? This is where this hitch comes into play. We put the loop of the whoopee sling around the toggle and on top of the knot. You don't want to put it on top of the toggle because it'll break. But you put it on top of the knot, it's not going anywhere. So do this, and we quick deploy. Fast and easy, right? Obviously it's way too low, so we're going to adjust the whoopee slings so that it brings the height of the whole hammock up. So here's the whoopee sling. It's one piece of cordage that actually comes around and is buried inside itself. In order to raise the hammock, we're going to do this to both ends, but you just pull this tag end here. How quick and easy that is. Boom. So we're here, and we'll go do it to the head end as well. Remember, foot end, we like to try and keep a little bit higher than the head end. So it just takes a little bit of fiddling, and we get it right, we have a great night's sleep. So it's up, and if everything's right, you get into it, test out how it feels, and you don't end up on the ground. Let's see how this goes. If I fall, I promise I won't edit it out. A little bit of movement while everything settles in. It's not bad. Not bad. So let's, oh yeah. Perfect. All right, let's get the tarp deployed. So as you can see on my tree strap, I actually have this really thin bright cord attached, and on it, let me show you, I have what's called a prusik notch, or prusik knot. Very easy. It slides, and what I do is I deploy the tarp over the ridgeline here, and I use another toggle on one end of the tarp, and then I slide this real tight, and I've got another prusik knot on the other end. So I pull the other side tight, and it's really quick, easy, works really well, and it holds its tightness in the wind. So let's get this deployed real quick. On this end of the setup, I'm actually just gonna put a taut line hitch into this loop. Two in the back. Oops. This cordage is really tiny. One in the front. There you go. No. That's good. Let's get the tarp on it. Now the tarp is a bare butt tarp. Weighs about 15 ounces altogether. It's got a couple of stakes with it to tie out the sides. It's a diamond shaped tarp. Put the stakes in my pocket, which fits the hammock world perfectly. So it's all right. I do like the orange, obviously. And when I first got into hammocking, I chose bare butt because it was affordable, right? Now you can see I've made some serious modifications. The whoopee slings didn't come with it. The tree straps, these particular ones did not come with it. Ridgeline did not come with it. So I've gone through and made this my own. I actually even took the bag for the hammock and made it, I think it's called a Dutch bag. No, not a Dutch bag. A bishop bag, that's it. So that we can do some deployments pretty quick. So modified the tarp as well. Replace the cordage with some lighter weight stuff. And again, I have this deployment system set up with the prusik knots for the other ends. Let's do this. Tarp's just about even. We got coverage of the hammock, a little bit of overage, which is nice. That's what you want. For if it rains, you don't want it to get wet, right? So I'm gonna stake out the sides and I'll show you the abode. Another tut line hitch. All right, as you can see, I'm fully covered. Life is good. The rain's coming, but that doesn't affect my view. Check it out. So yeah, I'm gonna start packing things up before we get too wet. Only got a short hike back to the house, and I want to thank you for hanging out. So yeah, these are the two shelter options that I have for the Northville Placid Trail. It's coming up. My hike is going to come up at the end of summer. I'm going to be out for about 2 weeks. That's the plan right now. And pound for pound, each of these systems is about the same. So we'll see. If I do the hammock, I'll swap out the sleeping pad for an underquilt. Again, the weight is the same. So I'll put links to all of my equipment in the description below. All the weights and stuff will have popped up on the screen somewhere, one form or fashion. You know, I really like my hammock. I've got about, I would say almost 24 nights in it from various trips. It's awesome. The only problem I have with the hammock setup is the fiddle factor. Setting it up, getting it right, and then taking it down every morning. It's kind of a pain in the butt. But the sleep is worth it, so who knows what's going to happen. Thanks a lot for watching. I really hope that you can help me out by letting me know your thoughts on each shelter below. And do yourself a favor. Try and get outside and do something awesome every single day. Thanks very much. And until next week, we'll see you later. Looks like we found a fault in the rapid deploy ridgeline. Back to the drawing board. I think I got a couple more ideas, so we'll see how that goes. Tent's staying pretty dry, so I'm going to use this to clean up all my stuff before I pack it away. Rain. So I guess the waterproofing works. It's a thumbs up.